I needed some money. Seriously, man. I grew up, my family really couldn't afford a lot. And I felt like I was enticed by big rims and dope boys. And, I mean, just that kind of lifestyle. I got tired of wearing pro wings. You know what I mean? Up there being real, man. And so that's what really started.
It was different, for me, because me and my brother, we ain't had no choice, you know what I'm saying? We felt like shit. We got to help mom do, We got him, making Jordan, you know what I'm saying? Mid-90s, no father figure, you understand? So really the streets was the only thing we had, you know what I'm saying, to really get something. Period. We leaned toward that, and we were 11 years old, 12 years old, 13 years old, man, 14 years old, 15, Alto, So it ain't nothing to be proud of, but what drove us to a criminal lifestyle wasn't just as much as our choice to just get out there and be street niggas, but rather the fact that we felt like we had to get out there and be able to provide for our family and siblings. We had 5 sisters. No father figure, my mother, so we were like, hey, well, let's do it. So we just came together. We merged like Hoover and David Barksdale, just made it happen. All the OGs, the older niggas looked at us like, man, well, y'all headed to the grave with chain gang. But after a while, they said we conducted our business. We weren't conducting our business like no young wild kids in the street. We actually went to the street with our business. We were strategic with our business. We weren't finna just be sloppy with it. And after that, they wanted to treat us, as adults. The same way the system treated us when we end up with all them cases as adults. The older fellas and women treated us like olders. So we was adults at a young age. When that happened, we go get us a bomb. We go buy us old zip, and break it down. They ain't have to worry about them looking at us side. Well, like, man, you too young to be right. Where your mama at? Nah, it wasn't nothing but they get money. They embraced us and we just rolled with that.
In my situation, man, it was more like a lack of understanding of options. Because like I had those options, but every day I'm looking at like Pedro was saying, like the rims and like people be saying like, okay, this was in front of me, so if you give me a toolbox and you don't put nothing in it but a hammer and a screwdriver, then I'm gonna finesse this hammer and this screwdriver, never knowing what the C-clamp for or what these other tools for. But the world, in my personal opinion, the world is full of tools. But like man, hey, I got this helmet, so I'm gonna work it. And with that being said, it's just like, it's one or two things. You're gonna rob, you're gonna steal, both, finesse, or what have you, not knowing what's on the other side of the tool belt.
So you felt if you would have known, you would have done things differently.
Yeah, I mean, if I had seen that, okay, you can rob somebody and get that quick money, but now I'm learning I can legally come talk to you if I complete my sentences and recognize and acknowledge my commas. You'll give me the same amount of money. I just got to make it make sense to you. And you ain't even got to work no sweater. It's just all about learning how to work them other tools.
I just say adult to take care of my family. It's really, it's just selfish motive. I had the popularity in school, but I didn't have the gear. And then after I started selling drugs, it was all about me. And I wanted the first to win. And I think sometimes getting in the game, people think, when they have a saying that I was there to take care of my family, for some people they did. A lot of people, for us, it was just for selfish motive.
Wow.
A lot of us, we want to be in the limelight. That's for some of us, coming from where we came from, that was the only way that we can get to a certain status in our lives, to be liked, to be part of, something that was bigger than what we know. So that's where I got into it. I got into it because I wanted better clothes.
It gave you
with the popularity.
Gave you a sense of identity.
Yeah, it did. I mean, I had identity to a certain degree, but to prove the identity, I had to have the clothes, the shoes, or whatever. And so that's the reason why I got in. But then I didn't realize that it was affecting the way I think. It started making me more aggressive. It started making me have a worse attitude. Everything I started looking at had to be about hustling. So I went from one stage selling drugs to, bitch on raw. Because I had to get money by any means necessary.
My situation was kind of similar to all these guys' stories. You know, money drove me to crime. But I think mine was like, I always seen growing up, my whole family hustled, and everybody around me had money. My mama, my daddy, my stepdaddy. You know, it wasn't that for us to just hold my bags of money on the table, and I counted at the age of 11, 12 years old. I started crying. I say, 11, I was smoking weed. And because I'm smoking it now, of course, I want to sell it. You know, it was all in my life. You know, my father wrote, my father and my stepfather both, you know, did their thing. They was out there hard. And so for me, the lack of knowledge also played a part because I ain't had all the tools that I think I needed to put me on the right path. But then I think ultimately I got caught up in what I heard Omar speak of was an identity crisis. And that kind of really pushed me out there because I didn't know who I was. I had a mama, that church-going, God-fearing woman that instilled that in me. But at the same time, my father, my stepfather, they giving me the street. And the G's on the street, they just teaching me the game, and now they teaching what honor they want me to get.
Yeah.
So now I'm bumping my head, falling on my tail, you know, and I'm learning from my own. So now, like, it ultimately it came down to survival. Cause now I'm out here, niggas busting my head, I'm busting other niggas' head, and now like, well, I gotta survive now. So I put on a mask, and before I knew it, you know, I became what I was trying to portray.
Wow.
You know, because I put these masks on so many times, you know, and just to put titles on, you know, I dealing with a lot of women, so now I'm putting on a mask like I'm a pimp.
Yeah.
But that ain't in me, but that's, you know, that's the game. Now I'm in the street every day and I'm hustling, moving my work, so now I'm putting on this mask. It's all about surviving now. I'm trying to survive, and before I knew it, I didn't know who I was.
Wow.
And in the search trying to find out who I was, I got lost.
Got
You know, and it just was spiraled down. And it wasn't no crime I wouldn't commit.
But did your
It
conscience?
wasn't nobody I wouldn't hurt. Family, friend, you know.
Wow.
Because now I got to survive. I got to live. And that's what was in my mind.
I'm listening to everybody else, right? And like, I hear everybody's story is kind of similar. But I think mine might be the exception to it. It might be mine a little different. My mom and my dad, they didn't live together. But I always had a father. He was there every day of my life. I could call him. If I wasn't staying in his house, I was with my mom. If they need anything, he always there. So like, my biggest influence before getting in the street and keeping it home, Tupac.
Wow.
Dead ass serious. I used to listen to Tupac. I was like 10 years old when Big Against the World come out. And I remember when, right before he died, he had put out All Eyes on Me. I felt like he wrote Shawty Gonna Be a Thug for me.
Wow.
That was like my thing. So when I get up in the morning, some people smoke weed, I wasn't smoking weed. I used to get up and listen to Tupac. I had the Walkman, the Discman, not the Walkman, but the Discman. I used to listen to Tupac. And that's what I wanted to do. And then another thing, I think it was 96, I saw Set It Off. I was like, if these 4 bitches get robbed a bank, I mean, I'm just keeping it
Oh, no,
if they can rob a bank,
that.
I can rob a bank.
Yeah.
And like, so, you know, people don't realize how influential music is and movies are. And so I was like, well, you know, I got a good, like, I didn't have to rob. I didn't have to steal. You know, my mom, my dad took care. Matter of fact, I didn't rob and steal, and I actually had a job. Like, I got fired from my job right before I got locked up. And when I guess I don't have an extensive robbery career because I got locked up during my 4th one. So I didn't sell dope. I sold a ½ ounce of weed one time, and I didn't ever go real. I loaned somebody a mixtape. He still owe me. He still owe me for it. You out there, Smith, you still owe me.
An individual, a preteen or a teen, before he is fully engulfed in what he's doing, then you have a chance. But if you have a constant reinforcement of 8 Ball and MJG, Master P, Tupac, these people constantly the question that I have, or the question that this brother got, every day I'm listening to this music. But I don't have nobody come to my school or come to talk to me or take me to the side. So it had actually got to the point I used to listen to music so much that if somebody called me and says, I would respond with a rap lyric. Like one girl actually, she was like, well, my period late. And at that time, 3000 had a song saying, talking about her period late. Guess what I did? Click. I hung the phone up. But they just like, this is what, it wasn't a right or wrong. This is what I was accustomed to. And by the time I had started getting money, nobody, if you wasn't getting more money than me, if I couldn't see it, then it was too late. You couldn't talk. At 19, I'm talking 3 cars and money, what I thought was money anyways. If you talking to me, you need to be showing me like what you got. Because if you ain't got what I got or more, then there's no conversation. It's too late, I'm gone.
You gotta catch the kids, man. You know, like I said, I had good parents, but you can have a mother and a father in the household, but the only thing, I think the most important thing with parents and young kids is, especially getting them at the age, like I was 15 when I was arrested for wrong robbery. Bro was 14, 13, 14. He was 14. But it's like, you gotta teach your kid how to make the best decision and understand that you gotta be able to live with the decision you make when you get out here. You know, if you got a good parent, a good mother, a good father, my daddy wasn't able to stand over me all the time. My mom wasn't able to stand over me when I leave out of the house and get on the school bus or whatever. So you gotta make your kids understand that when you make your decision, you need to be ready to take whatever comes with it.
And they need to stay in the youth business. Oh yeah, my mom was so shocked when them folks were reading out them charges. Well, it hurted me just to see how responded.
It hurt my folks too.
She like, what you were doing?
I think that's the
My
biggest
dad
thing.
died.
I think that's the biggest thing.
God, man, they be.
As parents, you don't see the influence that really inspire your kids to do certain things. Because I do now that I'm sitting there and think, I remember, you know, one of my biggest influences was listening to NWA. I mean, I really, it took you from one level of thinking to a whole nother level, because they came out so hard. You know, it made you. Well, I can't say for me. Now, I used to be like zoned out. But I used to, you know, NWA, especially like when Spice One came out. Like I was like zoned out. Like before we hit a robbery, you know, we used to be riding with Free in 98. And, you know, I'm hearing the beat, and I'm listening to Welcome to the Ghetto. You know, just talking about armed robbery. And I'm just like, I'm listening. There used to be another group out called Hard Boys from Atlanta, and they had a song called Armed Robbery. You know what I'm saying? And I just remember listening to that stuff, man. I'm like zoning out, like, you know, really allowing my mind to drift over into the reality of that. You know, remember my favorite song was Gangsta Gangsta, NWA. You know, so it was a big influence. You know, music was a big influence. That's why, you know, now, you know, in my mentor program, I'm all about encouraging kids, about parents, about what our kids are listening to, you know, what they're seeing on TV, because it's such an influence in their life, you know. And it was not, and I thought about it, it was a big influence, because it made me feel the way they rap, even though they probably never do, you know.
Yeah,
but I'm feeling
a lot of that today.
You know what I'm saying? I'm zoning out, you know, getting ready to go do something, and just geeked up. You know, I didn't even really smoke. I smoked weed here and there, drank a little bit, but it never had a problem. But music was more of a drug for me. As I'm listening to it, I'm getting more amped up, you know, and just ready for anything at that time. So yeah, music was a big influence.
Yeah.
Off the rip, the influence stuff, the music, I can't go for that. I'm what you call a killer. I want to hurt folks. That was my thing. And I know listening to NWA rapping, you can't tell me you gangster, you in the studio doing that shit now. Because I'm in the street, so that didn't influence me. Because you got too much time on your hands signing a contract, nigga. I'm catching you outside the door, I'm gangster for real. So I ain't had no influence.
Yeah.
And like I said, my mom was on crack too. That what put me in the street.
That's right.
Cause my mom on crack, nigga, you better not sell a shit. I'm gonna kill everybody up in this bitch. That was me. So you sell my mom some dope, I'm coming to deal with you. I don't even want your money.
I think
I'm just gonna come bust your head on the GP.
Wow. So what's
See,
your
I like to say, real quick. See, I had both parents in my household. All until about a year before I got home. I was incarcerated when I was 16. Well, I caught my case when I was 16. I went down the road when I was 17. And see, I had my dad in the house constantly, the whole while. And see, my thing is, see, I had my mama telling me what's right. I had my daddy telling me what's right too. But my mama was a corporate woman. My dad, he was from the west side. He's from the west side.
Yeah.
From the Simpson Road. And so he's like this. He gave me the streets, but he also told me to stay away from the street.
wow.
But see, my thing was, my fascination was the money. I could get it quickly, and I didn't have to put that much effort.
And see, my daddy, I could talk to my daddy. We had an open relationship. I could tell him, you know, I'm out here doing this. He knew I was selling weed. He knew what I was doing and things of that nature. And what he would do, he would encourage me. He would tell me, well, you know, if you got caught, you got to do the time. Don't do no crime that you can't do the time for. I remember November 8th, 1999, when I got sentenced. I called my dad from the payphone and told him, man, I'm finna go in here and see what they talking about. He like, remember, you did the crime, you got to do the time, man. And so I'm like this. My major influence, when it comes down to it, was the love of money.
Wow.
Wanting more. I wasn't raised in a household where we didn't have everything. We had lacks and things of that nature. But for the most part, everything I needed, we had. I ain't have everything I wanted, but I had everything I needed. And I believe as I was growing up, just the fascination for more. I wanted, people would give me shoes. I want Nikes. I want Reeboks. I want Air Max. I want Reebok pumps. Street balls.
Yeah.
I want some damage, some Paco, Payco. You see what I'm saying? Carl Canal. I want to be fresh. Have a couple gold necklaces on ring. Now I used to consider myself as a little playboy, so you know, like have money to flash before the girl. Started drinking when I was young. Started smoking when I was young. Daddy never condoned me smoking, but I could drink with him at any time.
Damn.
So I had boundaries. I understood the boundaries. But I'm like this. I agree with the parents got to be in your business, knowing what you're doing. But I'm like this. It also feel I can't say that I didn't know there was a better way, because I did. I just chose the easier route. I understood that I could work and have a good life 10, 15 years down the road, but I had to finish school first.
Yeah.
I thought I was grown then. Forget school. Go to school, just get off a bum. Get off a bum to school. Hey, you can sell an ounce in a day. 2 ounces sometimes. So I'm like this. When the money comes in, I'm 14, 15, and I work. I kept a job so just keep my parents off, so they won't be asking where the money coming from. So I kept a job. So I'm like this, when it comes down to it, it's an identity crisis. Not knowing who I truly was. I believe this personally. You can't know who you are unless you know him that created you. If your relationship ain't right with God, because the only thing that matters in life is what you do for him. And I'm like this, everything that all of us done went through in life made us into who we are. No regrets.
Fear is a bad motherfucker. If a motherfucker scared of you, he ain't gonna fuck with you. My kid's 5. I will knock their ass across the building. They know this. So they know not to do wrong.
That's right.
Another kid say,
you're right, dog.
hey, Shawty, they go do this. Man, my daddy gonna fuck me up. And they gonna know this shit. So ain't no talking to them time. Let's do this. I watch videos with them. All that stuff, they looking at T.I. Oh, T.I. gangster. I said, T.I. ain't did number 1 year, nigga. I did that shit in my sleep, in the hole.
I was in the hole.
That ain't no time now. Cause if T.I. Lil Wayne would've got some real time,
And population.
Yes, they wouldn't even be talking the shit they talking now. They be Christian right now. And then when you keep telling these kids, they looking at the swag music. This shit out here is so fucking gay to me right now. I'm being real. This shit gay as hell, and society giving these kids excuses. Like, I got the same excuse. First, I shot somebody when I was 13. First thing they said, you miss your dad? Cause I know your dad now. Hell yeah, I miss that nigga. This shit gonna get me up out there, motherfucker. You don't throw me the excuse. All I gotta do is take him and run for the touchdown. So I ain't gonna say no music influenced me. My daddy wasn't there, cause I ain't know the nigga any goddamn way, so it didn't matter. It's about fear.
When it all boiled down at night, you know what I'm saying, the reason why a nigga didn't have a father, because my father was abusive when we was babies. My mother fled from that, but at the same time, she was on dope real bad. She was smoking dope for the longest. She been clear about 4 years. Not saying that because her life had a, you know what I'm saying, had an immediate effect on our life, but it did. You know what I'm saying? They lives both. You know what I'm saying? So parenting played a major part in my life. You know what I'm saying? From the gusto. You know what I'm saying? Negligence. You know, when you ain't got nobody to run to, who you gonna run? You gonna listen to anybody? Really? you know, and it got to the point, man, where that pipe, you know, ruled with an iron fist in our family, you know. So, you know, we had to look for, you know, different outlets, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't like we got out there because we wanted to be street nigga, or we wanted to have fancy cars, clothes, jewelry, none of that. Because at the end of the day, long as my 5 sisters was straight, they wasn't sick or dying, and we was alright, we was straight. You know what I'm saying? That's how we felt, and it ain't last long because I only, you know, was out there from 11 to 14. You know, I feel like when they weren't picking up fast enough, I take money from the niggas that's out here to splurge. You know what I'm saying? That's what we did. We had a little more, we had a little more, you know, understanding, but we didn't understand because the life we chose, we felt like we had no other outlets. Therefore, we got down with the program. If I was old enough and I knew that I could go and get a job, maybe I would have did that. You know, but being 11, 12 years old and nobody watching over you, really can practically do anything you want to do.
Yeah, no rules.
And that's what, you know what I'm saying, drove me to the streets. At any time, another opportunity would have came to me at 11, 12, and they would have said, you can do this and make money. That's what I've been doing.
And that's a good point he just said, because, like I said, I got arrested 1-4 times doing this. Like, I wasn't trying to be glamorous and be artists. My folks gave me all this stuff. But when I got arrested, when I went to prison for 10 years, I had a job. I did work. I never had a problem working. You know, but what a lot of people don't fail to realize about what they call criminals and low lives and scumbags, people want to work. Like, guys get out of prison, they want to get a job. But it's like, you can't get a job and you hungry, and it's a hamburger sitting right here. You want to grab the hamburger and eat it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So even if what people fail to realize, that kids still want money too. You know, because one thing is, like, our parents don't train us to want less. Like he was saying, somebody was saying they had everything they needed. And like, we live in a world, in a society where we gotta have more. What we need now is not enough. We always want more. So even if my mom and my dad are teaching me that, hey, this is you got everything you need. When I turn the TV on, I see them I see the I-5, I see Birdman on here, he just throwing money. You know, he got platinum grills and like, so my regular teeth ain't enough.
Some girls who want money. See what I'm saying?
They still want more. Oprah got $2 billion and she ain't happy. She still want more money. She's striving every day.
Yeah.
Make another dollar. So we don't never know how much is enough. We don't teach our kids that, and if we do teach them, it's like hard to separate our kids from the world, because the world tells us that we got to have more. And so it's just like, you know, I work. I lost my job. I had a car. I had to sell my car because of my positive male influence. I sold my car because my daddy told me I couldn't have a car. He didn't know I had it, so I hid it for 4 months. I sold it when I got scared that you gonna find out, and then I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna buy another car anyway. When you go rob a convenience store, don't look to make no $5,000, $10,000. You're gonna get a couple $100. I had a plan. I said I'm gonna hit 3 stores this weekend to get enough to buy this box shit for $1 grand, and I got knocked off on the first one. But, you know, I should have quit while I was ahead. Like gambling, you know, you quit while you're ahead. But
yeah, I can't say crime is an addiction.
I used to like to watch Menace to Society. And I also used to play football. I used to hit hard, man. And the crazy part about it is when I messed around and caught my time, you know, didn't nobody really know. They knew I was locked up. But I think I was a big influence, man, on a lot of my teammates. And a lot of my teammates went down after I got incarcerated. I mean, after I caught my time, man. They knew that I wasn't coming out no more. It's like I gave them inspiration. I mean, football was my outlet because I was angry all the time. You know, I always used to get whoopings, but I always was bad. Well, people say I was bad, you know what I mean? But I felt like I had a point to prove. You know what I'm saying? If a child is going through and a parent shushes him, pushes him to the side, what is a child gonna do? It got to come out some kind of way.
Some kind of way, yeah.
You understand? So football was my outlet. So I used to like to hit. I used to like to hurt people. And so when I got into robbing, it wasn't nothing for me to hurt you if you don't give it to me.
So you was expressing pain.
I was expressing
another
my pain
outlet
through armed robbery and football. I had 8 scholarships to all D1 schools with a 3.5 GPA, so I wasn't stupid. Damn. You understand?
Yeah.
But the point about it is that I knew my mama couldn't give me. She only could give me so much. My daddy was supporting 2 households because they wasn't together. But he was there. You know what I'm saying? I was in and out of juvenile since the age of 12. In and out, in and out. If I wasn't on the football field, I was a juvenile.
Damn.
You understand?
Yeah.
But I'm not going to even blame all of that. I'm going to blame Marcus. That's what I learned the most out of this whole experience, is to blame myself for what I did. Because guess what? In the end, I got a brother. And I commend my brother because we grew up in the same circumstance, in the same situation. But he chose. It's your choices. So a child have a choice. Am I gonna wear these pro wings? And I know these folk gonna be talking about it, you know what I mean? I know they gonna try to lift my pants up so they can see what I got. And I used to fight about that. You know understand what I'm saying? I don't want you to look at my shoes because I was ashamed. Or when my auntie used to have food stamp, when food stamp was in paper. You know what I mean? I was ashamed. I used to duck out when we go to the store because I didn't want folk to know that we were broke like that. You understand?
Yeah.
Or when I came home and I know we ain't had no food in the cupboard. You know what I mean? And mama said, y'all going to eat, I'm straight. And I knew she wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's what drove me. Now, mama, you eat it. I'm finna go and get it. That was my motivation. And I'm just proud of all these guys right here, man, for just making the choice to even want to come out here today. To even want to show you that it is a better way outside of what we did. Yeah, we did it. We did it for a purpose and a reason. But now we finding a different reason. But it's crazy because I went to school when I came home. Got an education. And them folks still holding my paperwork back because of this right here. That's what people need to know.
Yeah.
Just because you go inside and you get out, guess what? You ain't worth nothing to nobody.
Still.
So it's still hard. It's still hard. So you still got to make daily choices. Am I going to do right or am I going to do wrong? It's easy to do wrong and it's harder to do right.
You know what? Grown men make choices because I feel like, you know, you got a list of choices. You're a man now. You know. See, when we talking about kids, we were just speaking about the lack of understanding, being a jit regardless. You know, you only gonna know and understand what you experience, because that's the only teacher as you when you a baby, experience.
Mm-hmm.
Or a motherfucker telling you, you know what I'm saying? Excuse my language, but it's like this. I felt like if I go back on that because I felt like if I had choices where I can, you know what I'm saying, that was dealt down to me, because I went to school. Even though my mama, you know, took her check, she got to it, you know what I'm saying? She made sure that, you know what I'm saying, we got up to attend school. You know, even if we ain't make it to school. You know, she got us up to say, hey man, it's mandatory that y'all go to school. You know what I'm saying? So we weren't stupid, we weren't illiterate, you know what I'm saying? But we was aware of what was going on in the household. It wasn't no secret. You know what I'm saying? So it was like when days would come when we wouldn't have no lights, no water, or no food, you know what I'm saying? Like Russ said, it came down to a survival thing for us. You know, we ain't steal just because these folk got it on the shelf. We stole, we were home. You know what I'm saying? Felt like if somebody was there, you know what I'm saying, helps out, it would have been different. But the psychological thing, the psychology of it is this. If I'm a jit, you know, I'm only gonna know right from wrong if, you know, not my parents. I ain't gotta be the parent, you know what I'm saying, but somebody, you know, to be able to explain to me right or wrong. Then I got a choice. You know what I'm saying? Then I can take that choice, probably to even take the choice more seriously when I see the difference between what's going on, the consequences. When I first got a dope game, my cousin Paul taught me, he said, man, save your money. He ain't tell me, hey man, the police catch you with this, but you gonna roll for a long time. He said, but save your money. You know what I'm saying? Don't be out here, you know what I'm saying, save your money, man. You got to put it up. Because this is what you work. At the end of the day, you're gonna have something to show for it. You know.
I see what you're saying too, cause as a child you ain't just born to make rational decisions.
Exactly.
You ain't just born to do that. You know what I mean? You gotta be trained. And I believe two things that really shapes our decision making, that what you believe and what you been through. Your experience and what you believe, and that's it. That's what gonna shape. And like I said when I was young, I believed that this what I gotta do to survive. Because I believe that what I went through and experiencing that would let me grow. And you saying I committed a crime at 19. At 19, I got sent to Alto. First stop, no stop and go.
I want to add one thing on that. If a child had the ability to make conscious, choices, then the fact that a rap song influenced them wouldn't have no merit. You know what I'm saying? If you can be influenced by a rap song, you're a child. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're a man, you listen to a rap song, they ain't finna make you go rob no bank. You know what I'm saying? It's just point blank period.
Yeah. Hey, I feel what y'all saying about choice and everything, but I had a choice. You know what I mean? I was 14, I started robbing. I was in all gifted classes. I was extremely intelligent. And I thought I was smarter than everybody else. So I said, okay, I'm gonna take the pragmatic route. And I'm in school and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, but I want to get this money. I grew up in a 2-parent household. You know what I mean? I didn't have to do nothing. But being as I was at the time a sociopath, I said, okay, I'm smarter than everybody else. So it's easy for me to go out here and take this. And that's what I did. I ain't had no balance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because even though I was a child, I knew right from wrong. But I said, hey, if I can do it, I'm going to do it. If you can't stop me, I'm going to do it. And I kept going and I kept going until somebody finally stopped. You know what I mean? So everybody got a choice because from the age of 9, 10, 11, you got rationale. You can think rationally. You might not use it or you might not take the opportunity to use it all the time, but you got a choice. I had a choice. And maybe everybody's situation wasn't like mine, but I did it because it was easy. And I did it because it was the fast way to get what I want.
It really nothing you can't do with a kid, you know what I'm saying? Because the kid gonna experience anyway. If you tell the kid the stove hot, he still gonna touch it and he gonna come back hot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It really, you know what I'm saying? Kid gonna be kid. You know what I'm saying? My parents told me no, never go out down the street or whatever. But I still want to go out there and just do what I want to do, what I see. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it basically really nothing, you know what I'm saying? You can't do with a kid unless you just find a kid that really like football and you stay until your kid like take them to YMCA and just keep them away from the street, you know what I'm saying? But peer pressure involved a lot of them too, you know what I'm saying? You got friends that gonna come and be like, hey, we did this, we did that, and they gonna be like, hey, how you do that, how you did this, and that's how they get involved, you know what I'm saying, around in the school too. So it basically on about your son or your kid, however he is, you know what I'm saying? And basically just let them know, like, don't, you know what I'm saying, don't get involved unless, you know what I'm saying, you gotta really have an open relationship with your son or your daughter or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So they can come back and talk to you as a parent. You know what I'm saying? Be like, hey, I did this. I was thinking about this. You know what I'm saying? I got a little daughter out there. You know, I love for my daughter to come talk to. You know, it is what it is. You know, like kid relationship.
I have a 15-year-old child like that. And what I do, how I separate myself, not to blame my parents for anything, because I think that an individual can do only what they can do. I'm not asking you to spread the sky if they don't call you little baby Jesus. But what I'm saying is, at 15, I have to be extremely realistic with her. When I say extremely realistic, if a female called me and she digs or she has no real identity, when you call my daughter in the truck, I put you on speakerphone. And I'm gonna handle you how you want to be handled. If you respect yourself, you put yourself up on this big fella, and that's how I'm gonna treat you. But if you come at me on some Glenwood, Keller Road type action, that's how I'm gonna handle you. And what I teach her is, if you want to be treated a certain way, if you want to be spoken to in a certain form, then you got to carry yourself. If you walking at 15, she gonna have a boyfriend. I don't like it, but it's just real. Okay, if you walking in the hallway and y'all get to a door, stand there, let him open up the door. If he don't open up the door, then you don't walk into the door with him. If the boy say something that you're not in agreement with, then just go to silent mode. Don't talk to him unless he starts speaking in the fashion in which you want him to speak. Because if you allow him to speak down to you, then it creates a habit. It creates a habit. And I think that with anything, you got to be real. I'm in your business, but I'm in your business to the degree where I'm like, listen, I want you to make the best decision. I'm not going to try to rule with an iron fist. If I'm going for a job interview, guess what I tell my daughter? I'm doing the research on this company because when I go in, I want the boss man to know. I want him to know that I know what I'm talking about. Or if I'm starting a business, hey, I'm taking up information in this neighborhood to see what's the best place for me to put this investment. Is it really a logical decision when you start talking to kids like they're adults, when you start putting them in a situation where it's not just I'm ruling this, I'm putting you in a critical thinking situation. Hey, what's going on? Right, my daughter, she broke her phone 2 days after I bought it. Do I go buy her another phone? Hey, look, you broke the phone, so now you're gonna have to keep this phone till next Christmas. This, you made a decision, you lacked off, you didn't get the black case, which I told you to get because you wanted the pink one, and now you're cracked, your phone cracked, so now you got to deal with it. But it starts with small situations. If you don't work out, you see the fat girl standing at the bus stop, that's gonna be you. If you come home with some D's and some C's, nothing against nobody who work at Walmart, that's where you're gonna be working. If you think you're bad and you wanna go out here and start doing the voodoo with everybody, you're gonna be pregnant. You're gonna be like somebody else, or you'll be at pinups or something like that. Not taking nothing away from them. But if you want to raise somebody that's gonna be something, you have to think about everything critically and come at them like y'all both got some sense.
And I believe, I don't have kids, but my lady has her son is 10. And I'm like, this is one thing you can't be with your kids, but that's not naive. I'm like this, you can't think that your kid or your child is above influence. You got to know that they're being influenced by something. And like Bruh said, if you're constantly in their life, you might not be able to stop everything that they do, but you're able to be a step ahead. You can look at your child and be like, all right, like my mama, when I did my crime, it just surprised the whole family. They was like, what? I know he didn't. You did what? But they failed to look at the signs. I don't blame. I don't. But I'm like this. If I would ever have kids, and the same thing I tried to do with my girl, her son, try to show her not to be naive to the situation. If he lying about little stuff, you got to correct that. Because if he lie about something small, he'll lie about something big. Or whatever it may be. I'm like this. You just got to deal with it realistically.
I don't think you can write a book on how to be a parent, a perfect parent.
Yeah.
I think it's something that you have to pray about constantly to ask God to give you wisdom. Because it's trials every day. It's trial and error every day. You see what I'm saying? You know, you have people with large families, you know, and everybody might be good kids, but you had that one that messes up. And do you blame yourself, you know, when you post the same thing to all of them not? You know, and I think it's just trial and error, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, doing mentoring, talking to parents, like some of the guys say, you have to be informed. You have to let them know what's real out here without crossing the line. You know, you have to let kids stay in a child's place. You know, you have to monitor these kids. You know, if they're having too much time on the computer that's not being productive, you need to take that from them. If you have too much time on TV and you're not doing anything, we need to make sure you're doing something productive. You see what I'm saying? Where our parents or our family push us out there to cut grass, make some money. You see what I'm saying? Or got our kids out there learning how to ride bikes. You know, simple things that we've looked over so much now in the last modern 20 years. You know, is the reason why some of us are where we're at. And for us, parenting might be a little more hard because we've been so much of our life in prison.
I'm glad he said something like that because I got 3 girls and just had my little boy. And I'm learning. There's 2 things I know for sure. I put my life on it, man. I ain't a best parent. I can't write a book on it. But I guarantee you can't raise every child the same way. They are so different. And that's why you got to spend time with them. I can't do with my older daughter what I can do with my middle girl. I can't. I got to whoop her, but I got to take charge from her. I can whoop my middle girl all day, but till she bleed, but that girl do not kill. She gonna do it, but let me take something from her. But she a whole nother story.
Yeah.
You cannot raise them the same way. You got to be into their life. You got to be out there. And another thing I know for sure, but you can't do it by yourself. I believe strongly on the old cliche, you can't. It take a village to raise a child. Just as much, you don't heard all the influences. They drove us the wrong way. But we got to quadruple that to send them on the right path. So they got to have just as much weight of positive influence to push them in the right direction.
Oh yeah.
Because their weight of the negative influence far outweighs the good. You know, 2 things I just had to say that.
Yeah,
I'm doing that now.
Hey, I think I want to answer your original question was you asked what would we tell a parent that has a child that's going on the path that we wouldn't have. I think the best thing, what I tell people this all the time is that if you got a parent that has no know it's spinning. What I tell a parent is let me talk to them. I do this all the time. And you know, it's like, if your child is looking like they want to go towards the street and you damn got a PhD, you do science, and you work over here at World of Coke, and you don't know shit about half a brick, or you can't cut up an 8-ball or a crack, and your son want to be a crack dealer, you need to take him over here and let him talk to people. Somebody that's where you at right now.
Yeah.
And he's been there, and he done already messed up. It's like, because you're not your kid is not gonna, they're gonna listen to you, but they're not gonna take heed. You see what I'm saying? Because if you wanted your son to start being able to be the best 3-point shooter, and you knew Ray Allen, guess who you gonna call to train your son how to shoot 3-pointers?
Right.
You gonna say, hell, I don't know how to shoot. I can't make a free throw. I gotta teach you how to shoot a 3-pointer. Let me call Ray, man. Ray, can you come help me with my son? And I think it's everybody.
Okay, when I was coming up, we had positive examples. You had the Cosby Show, which gave you a household with 2 college graduates as parents. Different World, which was a college or African American college television show. Not to say that I'm basing my life off the Cosby Show, but in my mind, even if when I was doing that, I was like, you know what, I want to go to college, I want to be a lawyer. I had an example of what I wanted to be, as opposed to now what we have is reality shows. Even BET is controlled by major media. So when you have these people, it was certain situations where you couldn't have guns in video. It's certain things you couldn't say in music videos, and now that line is transitioned to non-existent at all. You got your reality TV, then the internet, which is supposed to be an advancement in technology, gives people a straight dose of that dope that they was really censored before. Now it's straight to the veins, because whatever I want to look at, however I want to look at it, all I got to do is type it in and I can get straight to it. If I want to see a black man kill another black man, that's all we got to do is type it in. When years ago, you have to, hey, it's rated R or it's something, you have to go through some special steps in order to get there. But right now, you got people, I'm not taking nothing away from Tyler Perry or anybody else, but you have a lot of African American males that portray themselves as women, and it's funny now.
That's a real good point.
It's funny now. Like, even you can go to the internet right now, you have straight guys who have no, and I'm not taking nothing away from homosexuals, heterosexual males that can actually make a living off of pretending to be homosexual. It's a fad now. It's like with the skinny jeans and all the leopard skin and all this stuff. It's like right now, it's okay to be that way. This is what I'm exposed to. So when you ask that question, I think that the media definitely has a negative image. Sometimes they'll give you a positive image every now and then, but they'll shoot it down. I would almost assume that there are a lot of stuff is vetoed. Well, we don't. I'm pretty sure it's somebody trying to do something positive in the media. It got to be.
But people like negative. They like, look at the reality show. We dwell off negative. We want to see the reality. We want to see. I have no problem with those scrap albums. I have a problem when they act. And I do. Because it betrays us. And a lot of us not like that. A lot of our moms ain't like that. My mom ain't teaching me certain things, man. And I hate to see, because see, the way our young parents, our young teenagers growing up, and our young adults growing up, and our young parents, certain things they don't need to see, man. Because they put that stuff in their family, they put that stuff in their kids. So I have a problem with the hip-hop for them. I have a problem with the wives of ATL and how they, they got money. We up here struggling just to make a living. They got money, acting a fool on them. You see what I'm saying? I have a problem with all that. That stuff is straight negative, man. And it started with the
in that order.
What's the in that order? I'm saying, what's the so they used to get fighting all the time back then. Jerry Springer. I remember kids was fighting because teachers wouldn't let them see. You know what I'm saying? This show. But you know who the kids that were fighting? They wasn't no white kid. I remember a specific little girl don't follow the teacher because the teacher wouldn't put it on TV. So, I mean, we can keep making excuses about what the media's showing, but we give the media what they want to see. Correct. We give them what they want to see.
For a check.
I agree with both of y'all.
You give them
Like
what they
B
want to see.
saying, even you give them enough positive, but they ain't gonna put it out there. I remember, if y'all remember, I think it was like 2004 or 5. It hit the AJC. They was saying 80% of men coming out of prison had AIDS, and it started a big controversy. Y'all remember that? It was all on news and everything. But they said 80% of men that came out of prison had AIDS, or they were homo.
Did they come from Alto?
They ain't saying what, they just was saying.
So they teach that.
You know what I'm saying? But they ain't showing with these men coming out of the, like when I made a statement, you ain't gonna see this on TV. Unless we put it down. See what I'm saying?
We had to fight like hell to get it on
I ain't gonna put it on TV. See what I'm saying? But it's people more than us doing this. See what I'm saying? But they gonna show that other, like the statistics of the 80-20, they gonna show that 80. So they portraying us like this to also influence our youth. It's all set up for depression. That's why we gotta be there we gotta be an interruption.
But the positive image is so small. It's a minority.
Yeah.
Because the majority of people want to see the negative stuff. That's what they pay entertainment for. They pay to see this negative stuff. That's why I said that's why the ratings be so high. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, the ratings gonna be high because everybody don't want to see nobody talking about it.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? They want entertainment.
That's something that was built over the years though, because they show so much of it. Now you want more of it. If you start showing more positive stuff, getting more tools, people will want to see more positive stuff.
But this one thing right here, y'all say that like the people that control the media is like 5 different companies. You gotta understand that the media, the same way like the little tornado coming, they'll interrupt the thing and say, hey look, everybody get up under your house, the tornado coming. You have to put these shows on here. You got to show people, criminals, breaking the law, selling dope, selling drugs, because this reinforces the public to say, hey, we need these prisons. Do you really think that the governor of Georgia really want everybody to stop going to jail? Do you realize how many people are gonna stop, not have jobs?
Yeah.
You got probation officers. You got every prison has 300 or 400 staff members. Every prison. It's what, 50? It's like 50 prisons in the state of Georgia. That's like 400 people, and every one of these counts, they gonna lose jobs. So do you really think that they really want everybody to stop going to jail? Crime, like criminals are not the only people that benefit off of this. You see,
we can go back and forth all day with how we feel, man. And it's still gonna be the same thing, right? But I feel like, the same way I felt, what I'm saying, the same way I feel, about the whole system. We speaking of the system, because you said the media, they control it. You understand? I don't feel like I feel like they control what we eat. I feel like they control what we look at. They control what school we go to. They even control the hospital that niggas gonna end up dying in. You understand? Even the insurance, you know what I'm saying, that the nigga got to pay to get buried around this mother. You understand? So we can sit and come up with all kinds of solutions and suggestions all day about how we feel about the media, but at the end of the day,
Gonna be what it is.
It's a system.
it's a system.
And with that being said, you have to have a certain amount of your population has to be incarcerated. A certain amount of people have to die today.
Yeah.
It's just that simple.
Population control.
Exactly. And then once you lose control of that, then what you have is chaos. People gonna go to jail. If they didn't want people to speed, guess what? They wouldn't make cars that went over the speed limit. It's just that simple. Somebody gotta crash and wreck. It's just that simple. So I think it's our job. It's our job to, hey, look, don't be the one that crash, man. Don't see if the car gonna do 70. It'll do 70. It'll do 70. So I think they call it like damage control. You're gonna have a certain amount of suicides. It's gonna happen. Shit gonna happen. Just try not to be in that line. Just that simple.
William E. Hoffman, a partner of King and Spall and the LLP, represented a case for 18-year-old inmate Wayne Boatwright Jr. who died in prison after being raped and strangled by inmates. What does that mean to y'all?
Yeah, they woke us up, man. You know what I'm saying? Who's on juvenile? So when anything happens to somebody across the yard, they really try to make it like, they made juvenile really get the first whiff of the business. So 5 o'clock, soon as the doors swung, the police is like this here, you got one murdered across the yard. And so for that to just, you know what I'm saying, for him to just, be with us, 17 years old, turn 18, and then next thing you know, he dead, strangled to death. It was a blow to us.